Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here. Welcome back to some more Bears with Dark. We're doing a game preview of Bears Raiders, and we have a couple of things to talk about and some of my keys to the game that's because of some injuries or some stuff going on that could be keys to the game. So let's first start with the injury report because we have a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna flash you a little bit. Little flashbang warning was there. Okay, so week 4, TJ Edwards did not practice all week, hamstring. He was out last week, so it's going to be on Noah Sewell to come through and have a good game. He had a pretty good game last week playing, so we'll see that. Grady Jarrett was out with a knee injury last game against the Cowboys. Did come out mid-game. We did see a little bit of Shamar Turner. So I would expect Shamar Turner is going to be playing a little bit more. He had like 21 snaps or so against the Cowboys. Some good, some mixed, some bad. So for a rookie like that missed a lot of time in training camp, you're going to have that. And then Darnell Wright came up awkwardly in practice, but also was taken out in the Cowboys game for a series in that most likely as a precaution, but came up awkwardly in practice, I believe, on Tuesday, and he is going to be ruled out. So Theo Benedict is likely the projected one to play right tackle for right now. That may change between now and game time. Ozzy Trapillo will probably get an opportunity. Well, he will be activated because he'll be the guy that can play left or right and go from there. We do have some good news. Kyler Gordon did say, and he was limited in practice on Friday, he did say he's on course to play on Sunday. So Kyler Gordon is back. That is big. That is big, getting one of the better players in the secondary back playing in the slot. He can affect a lot of the play at the line of scrimmage. They blitz with him a lot with that off the edge. He's fast. He can create a lot of those blows up plays in the screen game. So I'd likely see a lot of screens from this team as well. So that's going to be a big one. Colston Loveland was banged up a little bit in the Cowboys game. It was a hip injury. We saw a little bit more of Dylan Smythe. He did kind of play through it, so I'd expect him likely to play the rest of... I was expecting him to play game time decision-wise. I expect him probably to be on a limited snap count. And DeAndre Swift last week was also limited. He was questionable. He did play a lot of that. We also saw a little bit more Kyle Monangai. Likely again, snap count. I'd expect Swift probably to play at this game as well. And then Cole Kmet, that groin, he's getting over that groin injury, and he is going to be full participant this week in practice Thursday and Friday. So he's good to go. And then Jalen Jones as well as DeMarco Jackson. On the flip side, the Raiders, Brock Bowers has been dealing with a knee injury, has been full practice. It's kind of slowed him down a little bit over the course of the year. That's going to be one of the keys of how we stop Brock Bowers. He is a big playmaker, tall, can make those catches. So we'll see how that goes. Jimmy Chin was a pack. He's going to be in. They do lose Michael Meyer, one of their backup tight ends, off a concussion, and Kamarian Richardson is likely going to be playing now. I think he's a reserve corner, maybe in reserve nickel. So we'll see with him. So it's still good, though. We get Kyler Gordon back. Loveland's still there. Swift is there. Darnell Wright has been arguably the best performing player on the line despite the penalties. He didn't have any penalties. No pre-snap penalties for the Bears last week. But he has been one of the best on this O-line this year. So that's going to be a big one, especially when you're going up against Max Crosby. He's going to line up probably more on the right side than the left because of that. So we'll see how that goes. And then, we need Noah Sewell to come through for that. Some keys to the games now before we go into some general Bears news at this point. Caleb Williams, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, just have a rushing touchdown in there. 715 yards so far. The man has been a monster this season. Can the trend continue? He's one of, if not the best quarterback right now in the league. when he is kept clean. His deep ball has been great. A couple drops on a lot of his deep balls, but he's really come through in a lot of those. He did struggle a little bit on that first game and then kind of hit the stride. I think we have something going on here. And then it's all about Swift. Can Swift actually carry the ball? Maybe a little bit more common guy. Like that 17 play, 11 run drive was great. And then Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze right now, 4 touchdowns leading the league. He is on pace right now of at least a 1,200 yard season if this continues. And if at this rate it does continue with the touchdowns, we could see something like a massive 12 to 1,400 yard season and 10 to 15 touchdowns for him, which would be insane for him. And then we'll just have to see from there. For the Bears defense, it's going to be all about stopping Ashton Jeanty. He's around 3.3 to 3.5 yards a carry. He hasn't been able to get up to speed a lot with their running game. It's something that Pete Carroll likes to do. So we'll likely see that. And the Bears have been giving up 5.5 to 6 yards a carry, which has not been great. So something's got to give. Either the Bears are carved up like this or the Raiders' run defense is stopped. And then on the flip side, Geno Smith will give you a couple opportunities to take some picks. Will the Bears actually take those balls away? They did against Dak. Dak had a couple of passes that weren't great. Able to be tipped off the tip drill, getting that. Yeah, Tremaine Edmonds gets another pick in the end zone. So that will be a big thing of seeing how this Bears defense works against this run game. If you make them one-dimensional, a lot of the Raiders go off a lot of the play action. And if they do that, and if you can cut down on the running game, you never know. You can get something good with this. Now, broad Bears news right now. So, we'll go back to this so I'm not blinding you. Jalen Johnson did get a second opinion I was reading about, and it looks like he is going to end up getting surgery. It's core surgery, so it's not as much or as serious as everyone had previously thought, it being hip surgery. So it's core surgery, and he could be back within 12 weeks. Now, if the Bears are competitive in 12 weeks fighting for a playoff spot, that is possible. If that is not the case, we'll likely not see Jalen Johnson the rest of the year. So, kind of dependent. Bears have a string of games they can win. They win this, they can get completely healthy after this. And flashbang again. If they can get through this week with a win, they come in 2-2. TJ Edwards has a week to get healthy. Grady Jarrett will as well. Darnell Wright will as well. With this bye week, Kyler Gordon can get up to speed all the way. You could literally empty your injury report. Now, I was saying at the beginning of the year, maybe this bye week wasn't the greatest to have at week 5. But with how the injuries have stacked up at this point, it's actually a godsend that it is coming right now. So it kind of is what it is, and we'll kind of see what we do there. But that is good news about Jalen Johnson. It's all about if this team can be competitive. Now, with that competitive bit, when we're looking at the teams, let's go with that. So they're 1-2, say they're 2-2 here. Say they win this one, they're 3-2. 4-2, say 4-3. If Joe Burrow isn't here, that could be 5-3, 6-3. Say they split with the Vikings, which I had, so 7-3. Say they lose this one, it's 7-4, 7-5. Say they split with the Packers, so 8-5. Say they beat the Browns, 9-5, 9-6. Say 9-7, and then this one becomes a 9-8 bit. So, of course, you have a couple of things. Maybe they beat the Steelers in there. Maybe you end up being the Packers twice, because who knows with Love. And you never know the injuries with the 49ers right now. So, and you never know what could potentially happen. The Ravens did get beat up by a rushing game by the Lions. That was a big one. So you could see a little bit of an issue on that. I haven't watched that game completely through, so I have to see how that is. But you could see a couple of opportunities where the Bears could come through with a couple of games. So Jalen Johnson coming back, say, in 12 weeks, I would put him about late December. So we're talking about maybe the Packers game, 49ers, and Lions games. And that one could be big because it's home. You have an away game and home. I mean, if you could maybe get 2 out of 3 of this and move to an 8-6 situation or a 10-6 situation, you could ease in the playoffs. Last year, what we were looking at, and obviously this was last year, when we're looking at how this was, 11-6 was the playoffs. So I'm projecting that you need probably at least 10 games. Going off what the Seahawks had, you need at least 10 games going into this to possibly make the playoffs or still be in the race. So that's one big thing. But at the end of the day, having that news of Jalen Johnson likely coming back towards the end of the season, and if they can be competitive, that could really help the Bears in the long run. Also, rumors, because they do have an empty spot on their roster right now on their 56, they could potentially bring in a player. You have no, I don't think there's any rule where they have to pull in with 56 men on the roster for that. So maybe the Bears might try to make a move. And the move could be as much as maybe they bring in a guy like Asante Samuel, a little banged up, dealing with an injury. I don't think he's completely healthy at this point, so it's really a questionable if you do that. I think Asante Samuel Jr. could be a good player to bring in and have Al Harris out there teaching them. Al Harris did a pretty good job with Nashawn Wright and a couple of these guys. In the grand scheme of things, though, what you're seeing is maybe a move for running back. That could be a big one there as well. We don't know. Maybe that is in there in the hopes, but hey, we never really know what they're going to be. But as of right now, I haven't seen anything for that. And maybe they just elevate someone from the practice squad until they have to for the next 4 weeks up to the main roster. So there is that too. So that's going to do it for me today. Preview with the game on Sunday. It is a 3:25 game. So post game, I typically do the day after, but I'll probably have initial thoughts that Sunday night. Not going to this game. And I was going to go to the Saints game in a couple weeks, but some stuff came up, so I will not be going to the Saints game more than likely. So it's just the Cowboys this year. You will have everything on time, and then we roll into a bye week. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Go leave a like below, comment, and subscribe. Check out everything else on the channel, previous Bears content. Maybe we'll do more. I don't know. I kind of thought about it, and we'll kind of see how this journey takes us, because this is an experiment and I'm having fun doing it. So later, guys.